Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera pada semua. Apa khabar semua?
Salam Doktor. Bila sihat? Doktor
Alhamdulillah,
sihat? Dah kelas ke?
saya biasa je lah. Kalau tak sihat, tak ada kelas lah. Okey semua ya. So, untuk hari ini kita ada kelas Akta Factory Machinery Act. So, saya akan upload sekejap lagi slide. Sekejap ya. Okey. Okay. Today, lecture on Factories and Machinery Act 1967, and this act have been revised on 2006. So this act has been known as Act A126A. So when talk about revision, this being bring to the Parliament. Some of the act have been brought to the Parliament. So they will propose to the Parliament what are the things that need to be revised, and the revision has been done and been accepted on the 2006. So this act is about Factory and Machinery, Machinery Act 2000. Hang on, sekejap. Okay. So this act actually cover factory and machine at workplace, at industry. So we as NOT also need to know about this act, because under this act there is also regulation that we as an OT and a health practitioner, if we work in occupational health, we have to understand and acknowledge this act and regulation. So this act actually to provide for the control of factories. So anything that talking about factories, this act control the factory with respect to matters relating to the safety, health and welfare of person therein. So anything matters about safety, health and welfare of the person that work inside the factory, in the industry. And also in this act, there is a registration of the registration and factory. I have to admit all. Sorry. Registration and inspection. So some of the machine under this act need to be registered and have been need inspection under this act. So the worker who work at these factories will be taken care of lah, because some of the machine is very high risk and is need to be registered. When they talk about registration is about the safety of the machine. Okay, when talk about factory, it means that any premises or part of a premises where within the close or curtilage or presence of the premises of part thereof persons are employed in manual labor. So in this factory, people work as a labor over there, and there is a process for or connected with or incidental to the making. There is a process. There also people, the worker work that involve of making, altering, repairing, ornamenting, sorting, finishing, cleaning, washing, breaking, demolishing, construction, reconstructing, fitting, refitting, adjusting, or adapting of any article or part thereof. So in industry, lot of activity, lot of process. So all these activities, even cleaning and washing also, under this act, covered by this act. So the said work is carried on by way of trade for the purpose of gain or incidentally to any business. So carry on. So lot of businesses in the factory. There's so many things they do. Is involved of business in terms of trading, kan? They want to come out with product, so the factory has been used, and then there is a process in the factory that use manual labor, worker working at the factory. So interpretation of factory is any, whether or not they are factories by reason of the foregoing definition. So the expression factory also includes the following premises in which persons are employed in manual labor. So any yard or dry dock, including the prison thereof, in which ships or vessels are constructed, reconstructed, repaired, refitted, finished, or broken. So any yard means that it means that shipyard di perkapalan pelabuhan ada yang repair ship ataupun construct ship, kan. So di situ pun consider as factory. So and then any premises with the business of washing or filling bottles or containers or packing articles is carried on incidentally to the purpose of any factory. So for example, like apa factory yang buat Coke, orange, kan, box ke air yang isi dia buat botol macam-macam lah, air dalam botol tu, dia buat packing dan sebagainya, pun termasuk dalam tu. They call it factory. Any premises in which the business of hooking, plating, lapping, making or packing of yarn or clothes is carried on. Dalam kadang-kadang ada factory yang buat kedai uniform, dia buat secara besar-besaran, kan. Dia buat kilang baju, kilang nylon, dan sebagainya, pun termasuk dalam factory. Any laundry carry on as ancillary to another business or incidentally to the purpose any public institution. Laundry, it means that dobi yang mencuci baju secara besar-besaran, dan sebagainya. It considered as factory also. Any premises in which the construction, reconstruction or repair of locomotive, vehicles or other plant for use for transport purpose is carried on ancillary to transport undertaking or under industrial or commercial undertaking. So, premises factory yang contoh buat apa kereta Pro 2 kan, Pro 2 proton, di kilang proton di mana? Di saya ingat Pro 2, Pro 2 di mana dah saya pernah pergi dulu, Kuala Kubu kan.
Proton Tanjung Malim.
Tanjung Malim, Proton Tanjung Malim. Siapa tu? Bagus ingat dia. Kuala Kubu, Pro 2 di kontrak saya di Serendar atau Kuala Kubu. Proton di Tanjung Malim. So these premises are considered as factory because they construct vehicle, dia membuat kereta. It considered as factory. Any premises in which printing by letterpress, lithography, photographer, or other similar process. This one is more on kilang-kilang yang mencetak paper, NSD, utusan kan, melibatkan printing, sebagainya, produce film, CVD, DVD ke. So, consider as factory. Any premises in which the production of cinematograph films, bila kita dengan film, consider also as a factory. Any premises in which manual labor is employed and mechanical power is used in connection with the making. So mechanical power is mean what? Premises yang manual labor, kemudian dia terlibat dengan mechanical power. Maksudnya mechanical power, dia guna crane ke, kan, dia guna pressure hydraulic ke, pressure, peralatan yang mechanical yang besar-besar tu, pun dikenali sebagai factory. Or repair of antique or metal or wood, incidentally to any business carried on by way of trade. Kilang kayu pun, kilang kayu yang hasilkan kayu balak tu, dia hasilkan kayu-kayu, dia potong kayu melibatkan jentera mechanical kan, itu pun termasuk. Then any premises used for the storage of gas in a gas holder having a storage capacity of not less than 140 cubic meters. So any premises yang store gas, kadang you tengok kan, ada tempat yang store gas tu besar, banyak tong-tong gas tu, ataupun dia store minyak dan sebagainya, tapi tak lebih daripada tidak kurang daripada 140 cubic meters lah. So for example like kedai Aceh, dia jual gas sebanyak 10 biji. Adakah dia termasuk sebagai factory? Kedai Aceh, biasa kedai kecil kan, itu tak termasuk, because dia bukan store yang besar kan, kapasiti dia tu tak banyak. But this one, if they store not less than 140 cubic, consider as a factory. Any premises, places or space where any building operation or works of engineering, construction are carried out. Contoh, buat jambatan, buat building, melibatkan engineering work, dia kena letak besi dan sebagainya, konkrit dan sebagainya, it considered as factory. any premises belonging to or in the occupation of the federal government. Maksudnya apa ni, kerajaan punya bangunan pun termasuk local authority or other public authority, termasuk considered as a factory. So interpretation of factory but does not include. So this in terms of factory is not being included if there is a premises used for the purpose of housing locomotive, or vehicle. So contoh bengkel kereta, itu tak termasuk, because the purpose of housing locomotives or vehicle. This premises, for example, bengkel kereta, not include as a factory. And then any premises where 5 or less person carried on any work in which machinery is not used, notwithstanding that premises, by virtue of the work, would constitute a factory within the meaning of this section. So any, for example, like dekat restoran katakan kan, restoran, kedai makan, there is on any work with machinery is not used. Mesin ni menyebabkan yang mechanical power punya lah, mesin it's not used. Kalau setakat mesin contoh mengisar, memasak, tak termasuk. So interpretation of machinery. So that one talking about factory. This one more on machine. What is mean by machinery? So machinery include steam boiler. Steam boiler ni, steam boiler, unfired pressure vessel, fired pressure vessel, pipeline, prime movers, gas cylinder, gas holders, hoisting machine, and tackle, transmission machinery, driven machinery, material handling equipment, amusement device, or any similar machinery, and any equipment for the casting, cutting, welding, electro deposition of metals, and of their spray by means of compressed gas, or air, or metals, or other metal. Ini mesin steam boiler. Itu kan steam boiler. Steam boiler ni dia dia masak air secara besar-besaran. Daripada steam tu yang akan gerakkan apa, turbine. So macam apa, TNB, dia ada factory yang menjana elektrik. So steam boilers ni dia akan come up with apa ni, steam yang boleh jalankan turbine. Turbine ni dia akan berpusing lah. Kipas ni akan berpusing dan dia akan menjana elektrik. Macam TNB. Semua tu dikenali sebagai hoisting machine. Hoisting machine, contoh apa? Contoh macam escalator. Escalator is a hoisting machine. Dia mengangkut. Lift yang kita naik itu dekat apa, FSK tu, is a hoisting machine. Consider as hoisting machine. Fired pressure vessel. Fired pressure vessel, dia akan, vessel ni akan apa ni, tembak apa ni, fire. Fire tu halus. Halus bila dia, contoh bila dia masak dia bakar minyak, so minyak tu akan fire. Pressure vessel tu akan fire satu apa, gas yang pressure dia tinggi. So all these things considered as machine. So what is the thing that does not include in the machine? The thing that does not include in the machine is any machinery used for the propulsion of the vehicle other than steam boilers or steam engine. So contoh mesin yang gerakkan kereta kita tu, silinder 4 silinder, 6 silinder is not considered as machine. Kalau steam boiler or steam engine, ini consider as a machine. Any machinery driven by manual power other than hoisting machine. Mesin yang buat yang manual, yang pergerakan secara manual, tak diambil kira. Any machinery used solely for private and domestic purpose. Machinery for private domestic purpose macam mesin mengisar, mesin masak nasi itu tak ambil dikira. Office machine macam fax machine, photostat machine, ni tak bukan kira machinery. So machinery talking about mesin yang boleh mendatangkan risiko bahaya pada manusia. High risk machine. So steam boiler. What is steam boiler? It's a closed vessel in which for any purpose steam is generated under pressure greater than atmospheric pressure. So dia closed vessel. Dia akan dibakar. Steam tu akan under pressure. Pressure dia besar. Greater than atmospheric pressure and includes any economizer used to heat water being fed to the vessel, and any superheater used for heating steam, and any pipes. So dia ada, kalau talking about steam boiler, yang berkaitan, yang ada link dekat steam boiler itu pun dia ambil kira. So steam boiler ni tujuannya untuk menjana pressure, tekanan. So tekanan ini akan menggerakkan turbine. Biasanya macam dekat TNB, dia ada dia punya steam boiler dia. Ataupun kilang-kilang yang perlukan pressure yang kuat untuk gerakkan dia punya mesin. Itu termasuk. So what is unfired pressure vessel? So unfired pressure vessel is enclosed vessel under pressure greater than atmospheric pressure by any gas or mixture or combination of gases, and includes any vessel under pressure of steam to the steam boiler, external to the steam boiler, and any vessel which is under pressure of a liquid or gas or both, and any vessel subject internally to a pressure less than atmospheric pressure but does not include gasoline. So this is known as unfired pressure vessel. So unfired pressure vessel contoh macam dia nak masukkan tiang ke dalam tanah. Dulu kita dia gunakan mesin yang ketuk ke dalam tanah kan. Sekarang tak ada. Dia guna hidrolik. Dia guna gas. So slowly dia akan gas tu akan pressure dia punya beam tu masuk ke dalam tanah. So this called unfired pressure vessel. Hoisting machine. When talk about hoisting machine, a lift, escalator, hoist, crane. Crane pun considered as hoisting machine. Gin, grab, winch, excavator, vehicle, runway, transporter of piling frame and allied equipment. So, you tengok sini, a lift, escalator pun termasuk. Hoist ni yang gerakkan daripada yang boleh letak kat ceiling. Biasanya kalau company yang besar, dia ada hoist dia tersendiri yang dia bawa. Hoist tu boleh bergerak daripada atas ceiling. So this thing under hoisting machine. Okay, kita dah belajar dari segi factory, machinery, and terdapat contoh-contoh So ada yang nak masuk lagi. Terdapat contoh-contoh contoh tentang hoisting machine. unfired pressure vessel, steam boiler. So you kena faham ni tentang kenapa dia adakan all this apa ni. Sebab all these things is a high risk. Is very hazardous. So dia kena register and then kena buat maintenance, kena buat inspection dan sebagainya. So when talk about owner, this one interpretation of owner and occupier. So owner, who's the owner? Is the person for time being receiving the rents or profits of the premises or machinery. So kalau dia ada kilang, dia sewakan apa ni, dia punya premises or machine. Machinery itu yang besar-besar tu kan, macam crane, steam boiler, dia owner. And then disewakan, dia consider as owner. Well, so this considered as owner. And then whether on his own account or as an agent or trustee for any other person or who would so receive the same if the premises or machinery were leased. So they consider owner. Kadang dia ada factory tapi dia tak buat bisnes factory tu. Dia cuma sewakan factory tu. Dah, tolong tutup telefon tu dah. And then occupier. Occupier in relation to factory means a person who occupies or use any premises as a factory. So occupier, contoh person who occupies, maksudnya orang yang menyewa itulah. Yang apa, bukan tuan punya tapi dia menyewa daripada tuan punya, tapi dia gunakan factory itu untuk dia punya business dia. This one operator and young persons. Operator is any person employed on any service involving the management or operation or attendance on any machinery. So operator known as a person being employed, dia buat service in term of manage, operate that machine, called operator. So in this act, young person, consider young person, any person who has not completed his 16 years of age. So 16 years of age, bawah daripada young person. So this young person cannot be employed at this under this act. People yang under 16 cannot work at the factory, cannot work as operator under this act. Okay, under this act also, there is a section to say power of an inspector. So power of an inspector is the officer of the DOSH, Department of Occupational Safety and Health. The power of inspector is to enter, inspect and examine by day or by night any factory and machinery. So this inspector have power. They are able to enter and inspect and examine any factory, and then require the preparation of factory records, certificates, notice, and documents kept in the pursuant of this act, and to inspect, examine, and copy any of them. So the inspector have power to ask the factory records regarding the certificate, notice, and document. So they have a power. Dia ada kuasa kan untuk masuk ke kilang. So kilang biasanya kilang very oblige with this DOS officer and inspector. Sebab kadang inspector dapat report ataupun dia buat audit, dia nak check adakah mesin tu atau factory tu follow dia punya standard ataupun dia dah register atau tidak, ataupun maintenance dah buat atau tidak, to make sure the machine is safe for the worker. And then is the operator that operate that machine is competent ataupun below age ke young person, so they have to inspect. So they also have a power to make examination and inquiry as may be necessary to ascertain whether the provision of the act are complied with, so far as regards factory of any person employed therein. So they can examine and inquiry any person employed kat situ, regards to the factory, they can make examination. And then to require any person who he find in the factory to give such information as it is in his power to give as to who is the owner of the factory. Then in this dalam dia boleh macam inspektor polis juga kan, dia boleh minta orang lain yang bekerja kat situ minta maklumat because dia ada kuasa dia nak menyiasat. So power of an inspector also in the case of an inspector who is a registered medical practitioner to carry such a medical examination as may be necessary for the purpose of his duty under this act. Dalam DOS juga ada medical practitioner yang registered. Maksud dia competence untuk kalau ada contoh chemical punya regulation tu, dia kena buat health surveillance. Dia kena buat health surveillance. So inspector boleh check. Then they can carry out medical examination if necessary under this act. So if there is a report from Naduport, kan? From Naduport, and then they found that the numbers, the trend is increased. So they come over to the factory to do the medical examination. And then they can able to take samples of any material, whether solid, liquid, gaseous, or vaporous, being discharged in or from factory. So any solid, liquid, gaseous, or vaporous. Vapor is more on gas is a gas kan. Vapor hasil mixture of the chemical tu, dia vaporize, dia berasap, dia keluar, dia bila bercampur, dia vaporize, dia terapung di udara. They can take the samples. And then for the power of inspector also to render inoperative in accordance this act. So dia boleh bagi notis supaya mesin tu tak operate. So any machinery which does not comply with this act by affixing a seal or any other means he may deem best suited to the purpose. So bila dia check mesin ni tak ada register, tak ada maintenance and is a high risk. to the worker, dia boleh sealkan. Dia boleh bagi notice tak boleh operate under this act. So under this act also, if there is a obstruction and offence, maksudnya ada ada tidak kepatuhan lah, there's no comply with this act. Willful delays and inspector in the exercise of any power under this act. So dia nak tak bagi inspector masuk, dia tak bagi support information dan sebagainya, tak bagi maklumat ataupun dia tak benarkan ada sorok dan sebagainya, dia consider as offence. Fails to comply with any order lawfully given by inspector in the exercise of any power under this act. So dia tak comply, ikut law, kena register, tak register dan sebagainya. Kalau employ orang yang tak competent, tak ada lesen, contoh macam steam boiler ni kena ada lesen. Bukan semua orang boleh kerja dekat steam boiler ni. So boleh diambil, dikira sebagai obstruction and offence. So obstruction and offence also, willful withholds any information. Who is the occupier or owner of any factory or machinery, or conceal or prevent or attempts to conceal or prevent a person from appearing before or being examined by an inspector, or any manner whatsoever obstruct an inspector. So dia tak bagi information, dia simpan, dia buat tak tahu, dia tak bagi pekerja dia jumpa dengan inspector atau be examined, consider obstruction and offence. So in terms of provision related to safety under this act, so under this act, the act stipulate that structure of the factory building shall be of sufficient strength and safe. So factory ni bila dibuat mesti safe and strength, sufficient strength. So sufficient strength, dia punya foundation, dia punya floor, dia punya platform, dia punya roof, dia punya passages ni, dia punya entry, masuk, keluar masuk, ladders. So mesti, structure mesti sufficient strength, maksudnya kuat dan selamat. And storing and stacking goods. Dia punya structure, storing and stacking goods mesti bagus. Kawasan yang disimpan untuk store atau simpan barang-barang. Simpan barang kan dia pakai stacking and stackers kan. Para tu. So mesti bagus. Contoh macam letak besi dan sebagainya kan. Mesti kukuh lah. And they must have fire prevention. Mesti install dekat factory tu fire prevention. So in terms of machinery, all machinery and every part thereof, including all fittings and attachments, shall be of sound construction and sound material free from defect and suitable for the purpose and shall be properly maintained. This is the term of the act punya machinery act. In term of machinery mesti sound construct, maksudnya mesti luluslah daripada sirim ke standard yang tertentu kan, tak ada kerosakan, tak ada defect dan sebagainya. Mesti maintenance dia berkala, mesti buat maintenance berkala. And dangerous part of any machinery be secured by means of fixed guard. So machine yang dangerous kena ada guarding, kena dia kena pagar ke kan, ataupun ada sistem keselamatan. Contoh Bagi satu contoh, mesin ini bukan mesin yang industri. Kalau mesin industri you tak boleh bayangkan kan. Contoh mesin apa ni, tebu, mesin tebu mesin tebu, kalau you tengok kan, sebenarnya mesin tebu itu ada gading. Gading dia di depan. So bila dia masukkan batang tebu tu, dia tak boleh masukkan tangan sekali. Tapi sekarang dia pandai, kadang dia setengah tu dia buka gading tu. So dia masukkan mesin tebu. Kadang-kadang dia berbual ke, dia tengok telefon ke, dia tengok orang lain ke, kadang ada disturb kan, tangan dia termasuk sekali. Banyak kes mesin tebu ni. Kalau dulu saya experience juga hospital, banyak yang apa, tangan kudung sebanyak sebab mesin tebu. So mesin-mesin macam itu mesti ada guarding dia. And certificate of fitness. This machine need to be certified. Certificate of fitness maksudnya certificate of fitness, dia dah confirm, dia check memang mesin tu berada dalam keadaan baik, fit to apa ni, to start with. Ni steam boiler. Steam boiler ni bahaya. Dia kena ada certification. Unfired pressure vessel and hoisting machine. Hoisting machine, you tengok lift dekat FSK, mesti ada nombor PMA, nombor berapa. PMA apa dia? Siapa tahu PMA? Seorang pun tak tahu. Dengan semua sarapan, tidur sebagainya sudahlah. PMA, permit mesin angkut. Permit mesin angkut. Dekat lift tu kalau you tengok ada nombor. Nombor maksudnya dia dah ada sertifikat lah. Sertifikat maksudnya dah ada grant lah. Macam kita, untuk kalau orang beli kereta, kenapa perlu register? Kenapa ada proses dia? So kenapa ada proses? Kereta barulah. Kenapa ada kena register, ada grant? Sebab kereta tu akan dibawa ke Puspakom dulu sebelum register. Dia akan Puspakom akan endorse walaupun kereta baru. Dia kena Puspakom akan check dulu. Dia akan consider fit. And then validity 50 months. So validity of the certification grant dia tu 15 bulan. And also can be extended to 3 months by DJ. So boleh mohon tambahan untuk dia punya certification tu 3 bulan. So lepas 15 bulan dia kena mohon balik, renew balik dia punya certificate. And duties of occupier. Owner, occupier, you know kan? Owner, what is occupier? Occupier orang yang menjalankan industri. So the occupier shall at all time maintain all safety appliance and machine. Sekejap ya. Duties of occupier shall at all time maintain safety appliance and machine. Dia kena pastikan tauke itu yang menjalankan proses itu, dia punya maintain all safety appliance and machine itu, selamat. Duties person employed, person yang work dekat situ, apa dia tanggungjawab dia, interfere with or misuse any means, appliance, convenience or other things provided in the pursuance of act. Dia tak boleh misuse any means. Appliance tu dia tak boleh misuse. Use means of such appliance provided for securing safety, health or welfare. So dia kena gunakan appliance yang untuk keselamatan dan kesihatan macam PPE, dia punya prosedur, dia kena patuh. Act in any manner so as to cause or to be likely to cause bodily injury to himself or other person. Dia tak boleh buat act yang menyebabkan injury to himself or other person or damage to any machinery or other property. When talk about injured, it can be bodily injury, damage to the machine or damage to the property. Property the factory lah. Dia tak boleh. So in this Factory Machinery Act, in term of provision relating to health, there must be housekeeping and cleanliness. Mesti ada jaga kebersihan. Dia mesti buat housekeeping every day. And then sufficient space for the workers. So workers yang bekerja mesti ada space untuk workers bekerja. Jangan crowded, tak boleh crowded. And must be circulation of fresh air in every part of a factory. So in every part of a factory mesti ada fresh air dekat factory. And there must be a sufficient stable lighting. Sudah suatu fresh air, kita belajar air quality index kan, guidelines of air quality. Kita dah tahu berapa kelajuan speed of air kat situ pun, dia punya humidity pun kena tahu, kita dah ada guideline. Lighting pun kita dah ada guideline. Temperature pun kita dah ada guideline yang patut dipatuh. Dalam akta ni general saja, tapi dalam dia ada guideline dalam indoor air quality. Sufficient and stable sanitary convenience. Sanitary maksudnya toilet, kantin dan sebagainya perlu ada. And then personal protective clothing and appliances. Appliances PPE lah, goggle ke earplug ke dan sebagainya. So this called this a provision relating to health. And also there is adequate and stable accommodation for clothing not worn during working hours. So dia kena ada accommodation. So di factory ni disarankan kalau yang high risk ni tu yang menyebabkan chemical, mesti ada tempat menyimpan baju. Dia kena pakai uniform. Baju balik kerja tu mesti disimpan. Dia kena pakai uniform masa bekerja. Adequate supply of safe and wholesome drinking water. So dia kena supply drinking water actually for free. Yang water, mineral water ke. And there is must first aid facilities. First aid facility mesti ada first aid box. Kalau pekerja dia lebih 150, dia kena ada first aid room. First aid room mesti ada untuk worker yang pekerja yang lebih 150. Dan dalam Factory Machinery Act ni pun terdapat berkenaan dengan person in charge and certificate of competency. So dia kena ada training and supervision of inexperienced worker. Workers to receive sufficient instruction in work at the machine or process ISO under adequate supervision by a person who has knowledge and experience of the machine or process. So pekerja-pekerja baru, dia tak boleh terus jadi operator mesin tu. Dia kena ada training and instruction, and at the same time supervision. Mesti ada supervision, orang yang mahir dengan mesin tersebut. Okay, in this act also, no young person shall carry out work involving the management or attendance or proximity to any machinery. So now, no young person shall carry out work involving the management of or attendance on or proximity to any machinery. Maksudnya below 16 years old tak boleh kerja di factory. Ini merupakan kesalahan dalam FMA. Person in charge and certificate and competency. So this machine must be certified. Steam boiler, internal combustion engine, and dredge. Dredge ni macam kapal apa yang ni timah yang apa korek timah, they call it dredge. Internal combustion engine yang apa ni besar, yang besar lah, internal combustion engine macam enjin kereta tapi dia besar, internal combustion engine and steam boiler. So kalau you tak faham, you Google, dalam Google tu ada tunjukkan. So this machinery have to be certified. Person who handle this machine has to be competent, has to be certified at DOSH. And in this FMA also, person in charge and certificates of competency, there is a panel. There is a panel yang kata orang ni certified. Dia dilatih oleh Ketua Pengarah. Examined prescribed by the Chief Inspector. So Ketua Pengarah ni akan buat examination. Then certificate of competence will give to the given successful candidates. So Ketua Pengarah DOSH akan melantik siapa panel tu yang pengalaman, mungkin dia dah ada lesen dan sebagainya, dia dah ada sertifikat, dia dah pengalaman, dia akan dilantik sebagai panel. Dalam ni pun, dalam FMA so there is a notification of accident. Macam Naduport, dia pun ada. Tapi Naduport ni lebih baik sebab dia ada borang-borang tertentu. So dalam FMA ni pun ada. Dia kena notify if any accident, dangerous occurrence and dangerous disease. Accident and dangerous occurrence to be reported, cause loss of life to any person. There is a loss of life, death lah, bodily injury, serious damage to machine or property. So they have to report to the DOSH, every accident. The occupier shall report the accident, tauke hilang tu occupier shall report the accident or dangerous occurrence to the nearest inspector by the quickest means available and subsequently with the least possible delay. Report in writing to the inspector using JKJ. Dalam apa FMA ni dia ada form 107. Sebab dalam FMA ni lebih kepada mesin dan juga factory. Dia kena isi form 107. If there is a industrial disease, report the industrial disease Every registered medical practitioner attending or call in to visit patient who is believed to be suffering from any of the disease named in the third schedule. Dia ada schedule dia. Third schedule and contracted in a factory shall send to a notice to the chief inspector and copy of the notice to occupier. So kalau registered medical practitioner attend on or call to visit, maksud dia patient ni pergi klinik ataupun dia dipanggil pergi ke kilang tu untuk kadang-kadang di kilang pun ada doktor panel dia so dia kena he believes to be suffering from any disease dalam third schedule, so dia kena report pada DOSH ya. Ini dalam apa dipanggil dalam apa ni notice of occupation of veterinarian. So dalam apa ni FMA ni kalau dia nak install mesin pun dia kena mohon installation, occupation, maksud dia apa gunakan mesin tu, building operators of works of engineering construction, transfer of factory. So kalau dia nak install new machine, dia kena isi borang. Kalau dia nak gunakan mesin pun dia kena isi borang. Kalau dia nak buat building operation of work of engineering construction, dia pun kena isi borang. Kalau dia nak transfer factory ni, katakan dia nak transfer factory ni ke contoh ke tempat lain, so dia kena isi borang ni juga. Notice of occupation of factory and registration and use of machinery. Factory no longer in the use of machinery, no longer in use within 30 days. Maksudnya, dia kena, kalau dia tak guna lagi factory tu ataupun mesin tu, dia kena buat surat. And then dia kena buat surat juga bila sekejap ya. Pi, tutup telefon tu Pi. Baling telefon ni. Pi. Dah lah. Tutup telefon. Mandi. Letter purchase for resale use machinery. Itu kalau dia tak nak guna factory ataupun mesin tu, dia pun kena buat bagi notis, buat surat pada DG dalam masa 30 hari. And then letter or notice purchase for resale. Dia nak jual mesin yang besar-besar pun dia kena beritahu macam steam turbine itu semua tu dia kena beritahu. Shall within 10 days of reselling any sell machine give notice in writing to an inspector. Dia nak jual mesin tu, dia nak beli mesin baru tapi mesin tu ada certificate of fitness. So dia kena bagi notis dia nak jual pada ketua pengarah. Inspection, factory and machinery will be inspect every 15 months. So ini semua kena dia orang kena buat juga. Okey, sekejap kita break sekejap. Boleh? Boleh semua?
Boleh.
Sekejap 5 minit je. Okey. Nanti kita sambung ya. Okay, kita sambung semua. Okay. Inspection. In general, the factory and machinery will be inspected every 15 months. There is a fee lah. Of course, there is a fee. Dia akan prescribe berapa charge. So, factory and machinery we inspect every 15 months. So, these FMA penalties. Penalties not exceeding 200,000 or not exceeding 5 years imprisonment or both. Besar kan dia punya penalty tu, about 200,000 or 5 years, lama, 5 tahun penjara. And then chief inspector also has the power to compound. So penalty kalau tak comply dengan this act, besar dia punya tu hukuman. Okay, kita dah habis kat sini. So ada soalan tentang FMA ni?
Doktor,
Ya. Yeah.
selalu yang dekat TV tu yang tangkap kilang haram tu semua yang ni ke? Dosh ke?
Dosh lah. Betul. Dosh kan. Except kalau ada kriminal lah kan. Jenayah berlaku di kilang tu, itu polis lah. Kalau melibatkan mesin, factory, itu dosh lah. Kadang-kadang so dosh ni, dia ada jabatan alam sekitar ni, tengoklah kadang jabatan alam sekitar ni lebih kepada luar kawasan factory tu. Contoh baru-baru ni, ada kilang yang release dia punya chemical tu ke parit, ke sungai, menyebabkan kita semua ada problem air semua itu lebih kepada jabatan alam sekitar. Ini jabatan keselamatan kesihatan pekerjaan. Jabatan keselamatan ni cover dalam factory. So kalau besok you kerja sebagai OT atau case manager, and then ada company yang you tak boleh dapat cooperation pada dia, you boleh kerja sama dengan DOSH. DOSH power dia besar. Dia menjaga keselamatan dan kesihatan pekerjaan di tempat kerja. Okay, good. Soalan tu, okay. Ada siapa lagi nak tanya? Semua faham tentang tajuk ni? So, Akilah. Mana Akilah? Akilah Naim. Ada ke tak ada kat sini? Dia buka je, lepas tu dia hilang. Siapa kat sini ada? Khadijah. Mana Khadijah? Amira. Semua ada kat sini tak?
Ada.
Okay, Nurul, apa? What is this act about?
Act ni dia cerita apa yang dia terangkan sesuatu dekat kilang-kilang tu. Macam dia terangkan dulu apa yang kita boleh label sesuatu tempat tu sebagai kilang. Lepas tu dia terangkan mesin supaya kita tak tertukar, macam ada premis-premis kecil tu dia tak dikira macam kilang. Contohnya macam tu. Dia ada kriteria-kriteria dia. Steam boiler, lepas tu dia terangkan inspektor tu pegawai, yang tu pegawai. So dia boleh datang bila-bila je dekat sesuatu company tu untuk buat inspection.
Okay, good. Lagi?
Lepas tu dia ada bagi tahu kalau macam satu company tu tak bagi dia panggil apa, obstruction of offence. Kalau ada company tu tak bagi kerjasama dengan inspektor tu, and dia orang boleh kena denda.
Okay.
And untuk mostly dekat setiap mesin tu, kalau macam steam machine tu ke apa, kita kena ada lesen, permit mesin tu.
Okay, good. Amin kena ada sertifikat kan?
Certificate. Lepas tu dia ada juga bagi tahu report kalau ada accident yang berlaku ataupun penyakit yang berlaku dekat pekerja macam tu. And kalau kita nak guna sesuatu mesin ni, kita kena apply apa yang tadi? Lupa dah, macam installation untuk mesin tu. Cara kita nak pakai macam borang
kalau kita nak install mesin atau start mesin kan, isi borang lah, kena mohon.
Kena mohon.
Factory.
And then usually pegawai ni akan check setiap 15 bulan dia akan datang. And kalau tak dapat bagi kerjasama dalam 15 bulan tu, masa dia datang, company tu boleh kena saman.
Okay, good. Okay, this FMA talking about factory, machine, operator, kan? Cover all these things lah. OSHA, what is the difference between OSHA dengan FMA? Jasmine?
FMA dia spesifik dekat kilang dengan mesin je kan, sir?
Yes, good. OSHA?
OSHA dia lebih general kot.
General. OSHA ni lebih self-regulation. Sebab you tengok kalau OSHA ni, dia emphasizekan safety committee, safety officer, kan? So, dia lebih self-regulation. FMA ni lebih enforcement. Enforcement dia kena register mesin, dia kena ada orang kompeten untuk bekerja kawasan tu, kan? Dia lebih pada enforcement. OSHA lebih self-regulation. Sebab tu dia ada safety officer dia sendiri, dia kena ada health safety committee dia sendiri. That's why this FMA and OSHA complement each other untuk kebaikan worker yang bekerja kat situ. Okay. So selepas ni ada regulation bawah FMA. Sebab FMA bukan setakat mesin, tapi juga dia ada regulation tentang material tu. Material yang dia gunakan kat situ. Dia ada had limit dia pada manusia. Dia panggil regulation ada kat situ. Nanti kita akan belajar lead regulation, asbestosis regulation, noise regulation, dan sebagainya. Okay, good. So, kita discuss tentang guideline pula. Untuk hari ini kita bincang guideline apa? Anyone? Iwana? Guideline apa hari ini kita nak bincang? Iwana? Mana Iwana? Iza? Apa guideline hari ini yang kita nak bincangkan? Bukan gender ke? Hello? Semua senyap je ni? Semua tak baca? Hello? Semua tak berani. Nurul, apa yang kita bincangkan hari ni?
Hari tu doktor tak ada bagi tahu lagi sebab sebelum cuti tu doktor just bagi tahu untuk test je. So saya tak baca dah. Minta maaf doktor.
Okey, tak apa. Saya cerita test je kan, you all concentrate test, okay, no problem. Next week kita akan discuss more on guideline sekejap saya buka dulu. Okay, next nanti kita berdiscuss tentang gender at work. Gender at work. So kalau you tengok dalam I punya material ada kat situ gender at work. So gender at work. Discuss this is a guideline talking about gender. Guidelines on gender in occupational safety and health. It's very good for us to understand this. And then tentang test tu semua macam mana? Okay, semua boleh jawab. You nak tengok ke result dia ataupun you all semua dah tahu?
Dah tahu.
Semua dah tahu kan? Bila last kali tu dah submit tu you akan dapat result dia kan. 60 soalan. I hope you all semua saya boleh tengok kat sini siapa yang tinggi, yang rendah ni kan. Saya boleh tengok ni sekejap saya sharekan lah, kita kena tepuk tangan orang yang tinggi ni. Sekejap Okay, test. Okay. Kita tengok 49. Okey, yang sini yang paling tinggi markah ada 49 per 60. Ni kira bagus lah, yang terbaik. Siapa dia? Kita bagi tepukan dia, Farah binti Abdul Aziz. Dia dapat 49. Tepuklah tangan pada Farah. Semua senyap je.
Tahniah Farah.
Congrats.
Ya.
Terima kasih.
49 juga. Airun Nisa binti Isa. Congrats. Airun Nisa. So Airun Nisa ni akan cerita tentang gender. Dengan Farah. Dia akan discuss tentang gender. Kemudian yang lain semua okey. Terus 2 orang. Dia ni yang tinggi. Ada yang saya tak sebut nama ke? Yang tinggi 2 orang. 49. So well done Harunisa and siapa? Harunisa dengan
Farah.
Well done Congrats so keep it up dan kita akan ada berapa test lagi? Ada 2 test lagi kan. Nanti test yang kedua talking about Veterinary Machinery Act and dia punya regulation. Dan test 3 about Social Act. Social Act. And ada tanya. Okay. So kalau tak ada soalan, kita akhirkanlah lecture untuk hari ni. Next time kita akan gender guideline. Farah dengan Harunisa ni akan present tentang gender. Orang yang excellent kena present tentang gender. Alright. Okay, tak ada apa-apa ya. Semua okay? Kalau alright, kalau tak ada apa-apa, kita jumpa next week. Friday juga kan? Christmas. You all nak bercuti ke apa? Saya nak cuti. Saya ada game ke Jumaat tu.
Cuti doktor.
Cuti
doktor.
Tengok kalau saya sempat, saya rakamkan je lah. Boleh?
Terima kasih.
Kalau saya, tak boleh. Kena ada present gender tu. Kita buat hari lain lah. Nanti kita carilah hari masa yang sesuai. Okay. You all holiday lah Friday tu. Okay. Okay, see you all. Stay home. Take care. Okay, enjoy your study. Okay, bye.
Thank you.